to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
All right, welcome back to podcast 51-18. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neill. You can tweet me at the Public Dog, or you can tweet us at the Odds Breakers. This episode is being sponsored by uwager.eu. For a 50% bonus, please use the promo code TheOddsBreakers at uwager and get a one-time deposit bonus. Terms and conditions apply. If you'd like to help us out with our costs, we would love to help you out. Please become a patron subscriber and an Odds Breakers member by visiting theoddsbreakers.com and clicking on Patron Subscriber. For $12.99 a month, we'll get you the podcast early, as well as our premium picks before the line moves. If nothing else, please sign up for our free picks newsletter. College has been rocking it. Hockey has been awesome. Jeremy's doing a fantastic job over there. Got some NBA going on there as well. It's lots and lots of plays by our odds breakers, and we're really happy that we're starting to get some really good traction here for all of the major sports. Let's recap a little bit, guys. I want to talk a little bit about first, I want to talk a little bit about the NFL here. We're on the sides we were 3-2. We had, of course, Cincinnati minus 4.5 or whatever. They're up by 5, and at the end, Fitzmagic is playing the game, and you just already knew he was going to tie the fucking game, right? When I handicap Cincinnati against Tampa, I'm handicapping Jameis frickin' Winston. I'm not handicapping Fitzmagic coming in that game. So he pretty much came in and took a L, made an L out of a W from us and stretched it out. And Cincinnati, of course, goes to win by 3 points. I was kind of hoping to just go fucking overtime and maybe I'll get a touchdown there or something, but that didn't happen. But Arizona, like I said, when a coach is fired or coordinator, there's a high probability that team's going to play a hell of a lot better, a little bit out of their minds, 120% the next week. And that's what it took to beat another bad team. But don't get me wrong. The Cardinals are still absolutely the worst team in the NFL. A lot of teams had bye weeks. Packers, man, holy smokes. How do you fumble that, Montgomery? That was brutal. And they had, the only shot they have is to give it to Aaron Rodgers at the end, and it's a great shot, as we've all seen many times before. But when you keep the ball out of his hands, fumble it, and give it to the other team, then you pretty much you pretty much marked your grave there. So it's not ideal for the Packers, but you gotta upgrade them a bit for how well they went and played at LA. But at the same time, I think there was more Packer fans in LA that weekend than there was Rams fans. I actually had a buddy out there I noticed at that game. Yeah, NFL was okay. Denver covered. Cleveland didn't. They could have helped out a lot of teasers at the end there if they would have got that 2-point conversion there, but they didn't deserve it. Cleveland's their defense is still bad, and you wonder after all these draft picks what the hell's going on there. I'm shocked that their coach is still there, man. It's just Hugh Jackson, man. What the hell is going on? Browns fans must be under disgust right now. But hey, I guess if you go from 0 to 1 or 2 wins, maybe it's not that bad. I don't know what they're thinking, but the team's pretty bad, and I think it's time for a change there and start using that talent properly and start developing it. Carolina too. That was my other loss. Carolina destroys Baltimore, and You think Baltimore was going to bounce back after that embarrassing missed extra point, and they sure didn't. They're an interesting hot and cold team too. They can sneak up and beat anybody, and then they can just look terrible. Their defense was number one coming in, but after allowing 30-some points and a ton of yards to Cam Newton in the Panthers, then we'll see if that's changed a little bit. They're still a very sneaky good home field though, so we'll keep our eyes open on that. Maybe some value will be on them this week. That's important. Let's get into some college football. I want to go over my power ratings. Well, not necessarily my power ratings, but how I see the top teams and how I kind of group them. First you have like Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, whatever, those teams. But the truth is, there's only one team that's in its own league, and that's Alabama. And as a matter of fact, if Alabama played Ohio State, or if they played Georgia, I would probably make them 10-point favorites on a neutral field. Clemson over 7. That's how good Alabama is. I can't believe that they have a NFL quarterback there now. It's quite amazing. They'll lose if they feel like it. They are favored by 14 points and 14.5. It looks like it's crawling up against LSU at LSU. That tells you something right there. I still would probably have to side with Bama on that one, because when the big teams, they play the other good names, they come to play the game. You saw that Clemson versus NC State. You see that when Georgia played Florida. They're gonna play their game. They already had their letdown. Clemson had their close game and against Texas A&M, and that they had that bad loss. Georgia did at LSU. But going back to my point, Alabama's by themselves. All right. And then there's another group, and the group is Clemson, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio State, and Michigan. And God, Notre Dame's close. You can maybe make an argument that they're in that group too, but this is the group of extremely good teams, like normal national championship teams. It's just not like the one on steroids, Alabama. These teams can also blow out another very good team, in the next class if they want. And that's just your next step. Normally, these teams I just mentioned would be the championship type team, but it's just that Alabama's that much better than them right now. And the funny thing is, you go to the next step, and I think there's a decent drop off there. I think it's more like a 3 to 4 point on the power rings drop off between everybody else. And when I say everybody else, I mean, Notre Dame maybe, but Washington, LSU, Florida, West Virginia, Iowa, Utah, Penn State, of course, is actually up there. It's that they're the third tier in my opinion, but still very good teams, but not national championship caliber. No chance. I love what LSU did, and they're 7-1, but we all know that they're just sneaky, and they're not quite as good as the top teams. Now, I would love to see an upset next week, but don't put too much on that if that's what you're thinking. LSU, great story. Joe Burrow is going to be really fired up for this game as quarterback, but that's some damage waiting to happen when you play Alabama. They're going to come to play this game. All right, let's get into a little bit of recap here. So, Baylor, West Virginia. We obviously did pretty well. We were 9-6 last week, I believe. 9-6, including the Thursday and Friday games. West Virginia, just like we said, came to destroy Baylor. And it's because they had that one loss before and then the bye week. I was a little worried about that over 63 because I wasn't sure if Baylor was going to score some points towards there at the end. West Virginia, thank God, scored 58 themselves, and Baylor ended up with, 14 points. Will Greer had 353 yards and 3 touchdowns, 17 for 27. Here's a little bit of an upset. Georgia Southern against Appalachian State. Georgia Southern won by 20 points, 34-14. App State, I believe, was a little bit beat up. I think it was a bad spot for them playing on a short week playing the option team. I wish that we took that. I know a lot of other people did, and it would have been a nice little money line there to take Georgia Southern. I hope some of you guys did, but I think that App State's probably one to look at betting this week. But their quarterback Zach Thomas left the game against this team. They left last game, and Jalen Moore, obviously, their running back, was out for the season. But we'll see about his health and if there's some value on him next game. Let's move into Utah versus UCLA. This game actually started out pretty good. Utah was, first quarter, UCLA was winning. And then Utah scores 14 and then really didn't look back, 141-10. They are poised to win the Pac-12 South. Boston College, smoking Miami. Glad we were on this side. This was a nice little Miami sprinkle. A.J. Dillon killed it, 150 yards. Anthony Brown did okay, 152 yards. Miami has quarterback woes. Malik Rozier, 19 for 36, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not too good, 150 yards. Hell, Anthony Brown at Boston College threw more, 152 yards. But, this is one of those night games that you just love that dog when it's over 3 points. Boston College is in the same quality as Miami. They're in the same kind of bunched up tier. Wisconsin versus Northwestern. Wow, Wisconsin's sure falling down. How does this team not improve when they return like 10 offensive starters, 9 or 10? They just lost Fumagale, but Ferguson's fine. For tight end. Everybody else is the same there, and they just seem to have gotten worse. What the hell? They're overrated coming in. Overrated. Now, of course, Jack Cohn was starting, and Hornibrook. So now all those Hornibrook haters can they're awful quiet this week. I run a site called Badger Fans for Life on Facebook group, and it's freaking crickets over there right now. Everyone calling for Hornibrook's head. Well, the next guy came in, and he wasn't too good. He threw a pick, fumbled, turned it over in the red zone. He had 158 yards, Jack Cohn did, and 1 touchdown. He's got upside. And I say, even play him some more this year. But, geez, Clayton Thorson had 3 interceptions, and he still won. Jonathan Taylor fumbled the ball twice in their territory. Yeah, that pretty much sealed it, and our defense can't stop anybody. We have major frontline, defensive line woes, and no pass rush. Our cornerbacks are left on an island. I think our secondary is decent. They're actually pretty good. It's just you can't tell because quarterbacks have 5 seconds to throw the freaking ball. So there you go. Wisconsin is, not a New Year's Bowl team. They're probably going to play some, December 29th Bowl or something like that. I'm not sure if they're even going to win the Big Ten West either. That's all up in the air. That's between Purdue, Iowa, and them, and Northwestern. It's all in the bunch right now. So all those tickets for Wisconsin are not looking too pretty. Notre Dame took care of business at Navy. They might have covered for you depending upon when you got this spread. It went from 21 to 24. They won by 22 points. Notre Dame plays a Northwestern team, I think at Soldier Field this weekend. But that's going to be one of my key games I'm going to be watching. Not sure if I'm going to have a side on it, but we'll see. Texas losing to Oklahoma State. There's your big upset of the week. Now, Oklahoma State, very good team. Very, very good team, but they're just really